Hey everybody, welcome to another live stream, a Sunday live stream. Whew, it's been a busy day today and my camera is already starting to act up. Let's see if I can get it come back over here. Come back over here. All right, now I'm going to turn you off. There we go. That camera has a special feature on it where it will follow you. So I'm going to put my headphones on real quick and see if I am lost. Yes, I am. All right. Testing. Yep, it appears to be working. All right, so I hope everyone had a good Sunday so far. It has been a very eventful Sunday for me. I have I got up a little bit late this morning, so I didn't go to church. I did watch it on the television, but I didn't actually go in person, unfortunately. So I figured on today's video that I would do a what sold video and kind of go over my store's performance and what has sold in the last month. It's been about a month since I've done a what sold video. So I got over here to the world headquarters about 3 o'clock this afternoon. And I walked into my front room, which is where I keep all of my electronics. I keep all my consoles. And next week, got a frog in my throat. Next week, I will be launching a video where I actually ordered a PlayStation 2 on eBay for parts or repairs, and it's going to be a can I make it work video. So this will be a first in the series of videos where I go through some of the electronics side of what I do in my eBay selling business. This has to do with repairing electronic equipment and making it work again, or if it, maybe it just needs a little tweaking or something like that. Maybe it needs a little cleaning to make it work, and that's all that's required. So what I do is I buy consoles on eBay for like $15 or $20 for parts or repair, and then I go through them. I fix them if they need fixing, or if I'm unable to fix them, then I set them to the side until I get a chance to kind of go deeper into it and make a deeper dive. But anyway, I walked into the headquarters today at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I had these plastic shelves. I had two plastic shelves sitting side by side, and they're about 4 shelves high, and they're from Walmart. They're rated to handle about 500 pounds. I guess what I had on them was more than 500 pounds. But I came in and both of the shelving units had just fell over on their side, and there were consoles everywhere. There were video games everywhere because I keep video games in boxes on top of the shelves as well. And so that stuff was just everywhere. And it was quite a ordeal. So I went to Home Depot and I picked up a couple of these metal shelving units, these real heavy duty, super heavy duty industrial, which is probably what I should have done in the first place instead of going with those plastic shelving. I picked up those and I put them together, and I was putting those together while I was listening to another reseller's live stream this afternoon. So I got those together and got the game consoles back on the shelves. Fortunately, there was no damage that I could tell to the game consoles. 4 of the consoles that I had were working, but they were on the floor, so they didn't fall off the shelf. They were already down, so they stuff probably fell on them, but nothing fell they didn't fall actually. So we're going to get into today's show, which is where I'm going to first start out by sharing some of my store performance information. How is it doing? So I'll share this screen with you. Okay, so this is my dashboard that I use on eBay, and this is the report for June 7th through July 7th. So it shows most of June and 7 days in July. So let me just do the month of June first. Okay, so the month of June, it was a little bit slower because I put my store on vacation mode. If you go down here to the sales from June 1st through July 30th, you'll see that there are several days where there were no sales. And that is partially due to the fact that I was on vacation. I went to, if you saw my last video, I went to Kissimmee, Florida, and spent 2 weeks with my aunt, Aunt Rebecca, there, and we went thrifting and we went to the flea markets. So for the month of June, my sales were a little down. I usually get an average of around close to $5,000 a month. So this last month, June, was $3,090.72. So that I had a selling cost, which was 30%. I promote at a higher rate. I use that dynamic promotion where my promotions are based on what the going rate is for that particular day. I found that it works pretty good. I usually sell higher amount of items when I use that promoted listing, that type of promoted listing. So my selling costs were $939.72. My net sales, so this is what I took home, was $1,952.16. This does not take into consideration the what I paid for, the items that I sold. So on average, I take out about $200 a week to buy at yard sales and thrift stores and stuff like that. So about $800 of that was the cost of items, cost of goods. So I actually took home about $1,152 last month that I actually put in my pocket. Now, you may say, well, that's not much, $1,100, but it's $1,100 I wouldn't have had if I had not been reselling on eBay. So I'm really glad that I am a seller, and I was able to take a vacation and still sell things while I was on vacation. Now, one thing that I should have done probably while I was on vacation that I neglected, to do is I should have ended and sold similar, or I should have created listings to put up that I could save, and then I could put them up while I was on vacation, so it didn't look like my store didn't have any activity. So I could have done that, and it probably would have improved my sales while I was on vacation, but I just didn't. I took a break. I just decided to take a break and not do anything with eBay during the time that I was on vacation. But for the month, I sold 40 items at an average of $77.27 per item, which is a pretty good average sales price for the items that I sold. And all of those items that were sold at a fixed price. In other words, I did not run any auctions last month. I had a total of 40 buyers, which is 42% down from the previous month time period of, I guess it was looking at last year's time period at the same time. And looking at the items that I sold, if you look at the items I sold, it looked like the majority of the items that sold in June were toys and hobbies. Clothing, shoes was second, and sporting goods was third. Consumer electronics was fourth, and then the lowest amount of items that was sold for the month was video games and consoles, which is a big departure from what I was doing toward the end of last year. I am hoping that the video game and consoles category picks up toward getting into the third quarter. So if you are retired and looking for something to do with your time, I strongly recommend that you take up a side hustle such as eBay. It is a good way to spend your time. It's very enjoyable, and it's just something that I really enjoy doing, and I will continue to do it into my retirement. So this is the sales for the month, beginning June 1st all the way through June 30th. You can see there were some days when I sold $50 worth. There were some days that I sold, the highest sales day was $499.14. And then I had several days while I was on vacation where I did not sell any items. But even though I was on vacation, there were a few days that I did sell items, and so that's good. So let's look at what sold. All right, I need to refresh this screen because I just sold something as I was getting on this live stream. The item that I just sold was this map of the United States. It sold for $18.90. This map, I think I picked it up at a yard sale for about 50 cents, maybe $1 at the most. But it's just a rollaway plastic map inside a case. That will be a very easy ship. All I got to do is just stick it in a tube and put it in the mail, get it on down the road. But that was a good sale. Real pleased with that sale. The next item that sold was a U.S. Air Force Air War College Challenge coin. If you've been watching my videos, you'll recall that I mentioned that I picked up a bunch of these what they call challenge coins at a friend of mine's store. He had a gold and silver business, and I picked up these coins at his business from a customer of his. He did not want to purchase the items, so he called me and he said, "Hey, I got this guy in my store, and he's got these coins. He's interested in selling them. I'm not interested in buying them. I told him that you might be interested in them, so wanted to give you the option to come get them if you want them." So I did. I went down there and I picked them up. I've never bought challenge coins before. Being in the military, I was very familiar with the challenge coins because I have several of challenge coins myself that I collected when I was in the military. The thing about these challenge coins is the whole thing, and I don't know about other branches of the service, but this looks like an Air Force challenge coin. But in the Air Force, supposedly, if you're at a drinking establishment, and I've never done this, so I'm just going on what I was told. Supposedly, if you're at a drinking establishment and everyone should have a challenge coin in their pocket, and the last one to slap their coin onto the counter has to buy drinks for everyone. That's the going story that I've heard. So that challenge coin, I paid $25 for the box of coins, and I got to tell you, that was the best $25 I think I have spent in a long time, because I have probably so far made about $600 off of the coins that I have sold to this date on those coins that I have bought. Still have several coins left, so I probably have about another $600 worth of coins to sell in my store. So they will sell. I have no doubt. I'm very confident that they will sell. And so if I see coins again, challenge coins, I certainly will pick them up, because they are a good item to buy and sell. Now these shoes, they're called Propet or Propé, or they're French. They're made in France, so I'll say Propé. These are women's shoes. These were brand new in the box. I picked these up at a yard sale, I would say about a year ago. And they're size 10 women's shoes in the box, and they are in new condition. They are new. So I sold them as new. But they sold for $22.49. I paid about $5 for this pair of shoes. And you'll see in a minute, this same buyer picked up the other pair of Propé shoes that were blue. The other ones were orange. These are blue. So they bought this pair first for $22.49. And I've got $5 in each pair. And they bought this pair first, and then I sent them an offer on the other pair, and they bought the other pair. So you see, they saved a little bit of money on the second. No, actually, it looks like they paid the same amount for the second pair that they did for the first pair. So that offer went out for both pairs. That was sold yesterday, as well as the coin. No, I'm sorry, that's today. So the map, the coin, the shoes, and this baseball bat sold today. Today is July the 7th. So here's the baseball bat. It sold for $22. I got about $5 into this baseball bat. It's a Louisville Slugger. I'm trying to see if I can get a good picture of it. It's a Louisville Slugger girls fast pitch softball bat, 29-inch, and it sold for $22.49. Always make sure that, if you're selling baseball bats, that you take picture of the top and the bottom of it, because the bottom will show you the length and the weight. So it's 29 inches, 29 inches and 20 ounces, or 9 ounces. So that sold for $22.49. And I sold this pair of Saucony women's shoes for $52.20. On the newer pair that are obviously very clean looking and new looking Saucony like this, I'm willing to spend just a little bit more. I paid $10 for this pair and sold them for $52.20. And they, as you can tell, they are in excellent condition. They are brand new in the box, in excellent condition. And they haven't been in my store for a real long time. I think I listed them about 2 weeks ago. I've had them maybe 4 weeks. They've been in my death pile. And, I've just been going down the death pile getting things listed. But these were called the Saucony Echelon, and they were indigo grape size 9 women's shoes. sold for $52.20, and they were in brand new condition. So that was a really good purchase and a really good sale. Hey, Dustin, good to see you on here. Yeah, those were pretty cool challenge coins, and yeah, I am making really good profit on those. Thank you for your comment. Don't sleep on challenge coins. If you get those challenge coins, or if you find challenge coins like that, be sure and pick them up. They're a real good purchase. They're absolutely a wonderful purchase. Also sold this cordless phone system. I usually pick these up at yard sales. People don't, want these cordless phone systems anymore, and that's why they're selling them in yard sales, because everybody has a cell phone. And not a whole lot of people have a house phone anymore, but the people that do are having trouble finding them. And, there's no Radio Shack anymore to go and buy cordless phones. And I don't know if Walmart sells cordless phones. Maybe one of you can put up a comment, but I don't know if Walmart, if you can even buy cordless phones in Walmart anymore. I don't know where you could get them. That'd be interesting to check into, to see if you could buy those. Dustin, I had a question for you. Good to see you as well. Are you a race car driver? Do you drive race cars? Because I see you've got a race car on your profile picture, and I think there's a guy named Dustin Walker that drives race cars. Is that you? Let us know. Okay, I just realized that when I'm doing these close-ups, it's not actually showing them. So I'm going to show you the close-up on the AT&T phones. This will let you see it just a little bit better. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's the cordless cell phones. I sell one of those every now and then, and they usually go from anywhere from $25 to $40. If you have a set with four, you can get around $45 for the set, depending on the brand. And AT&T is a pretty good brand that people like. So I already talked about the Pro Pet Travel Walker 2 shoes. The next item that I sold on July the 5th was a Barbie. There was a whole box of Barbies that I picked up. Okay, so you're not a driver, you're just a huge NASCAR fan. Okay, got it. Number 24 car, specifically William Byron fan. So William Byron, number 24, is your favorite driver, I guess. Let me see if I've got his car. Hold on just a second. Oh, just averted a disaster. No, I don't have a number 24 car, but I got a number 25. Is that close? Tell me who that is. Virginia is for lovers. Like that? You got it. What do I got? You like that one? Yeah, I did. Oh, you're saying I got the the lamp. It almost fell on my head. Okay. Hey Marty, how are you doing tonight? Good to see you. Hermes Sadler. That might be a Hermes Sadler car. Okay, I'm gonna put that back up. I've got a I've got several of these. I'm not a big huge race car fan, but I've got several of these up on my shelf. This is a light blue color. Is that Dusty Wallace? Dusty Wallace likes the light blue. Is that him? I don't know. I don't know. So you're gonna research it for me? Okay, good. Glad you're doing well, Marty. So this Barbie is a J.C. Penney Barbie. I got this at my local thrift store for $5, and it sold for $33.29. So that has a pretty good return on investment. You notice when I take the pictures, I kind of take all different angles so that so they get a good idea of what the casing looks like. Because a lot of times that's everything. Another item that I sold, I've been selling a lot of the vintage Barbie clothing. I picked up about 2 years ago. There was a case of Barbie clothing. Actually, there were 3 vintage Barbies in there from the 1950s, and there was, 1960s, 1963 to be exact. And there were also some vintage clothes in there from 1963, and a lot of the items that were in there, I just didn't list. I got tired of listing the Barbie clothing, and so so I didn't list it. But this was one of the things that I just pulled out like 2 days ago. And I said, well, I'll get that listed because I'm getting a lot of interest on the Barbie stuff. So it was a 1960s Barbie red outer, white inner shawl with real fur on it. So that one sold for $31.50. And I have, well made my money back on that Barbie purchase because I think I paid $50 for the case, the Barbies, and all the clothes. I got about $100 a piece for each of the Barbies, and the case I got another $100. So I've already made $300, and then I've sold a couple of outfits already for around $30 to $40. So I would say I'm well into the profit on this. So that $31.50 is pretty much nothing but profit. Looks like I dropped my share. Okay, we'll get back to it. Okay, so Dustin says that that car was Hermes Sadler car. He's a Virginian. That car might be from 1994. It's 30 years old. Okay, well that's good to know. I think it is listed in my eBay shop if you're interested in any of the cars that I have. Okay, getting back to the items that I sold. I sold a 1997 starting lineup MLB action figure Los Angeles Dodger Mike Piazza. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with starting lineup. These are vintage. Let's see if I can see a date on this. 1996 Hasbro. And what it is, you get, when you buy these things, you get the action figure and you get a card. And Mike Piazza, I think he's a Hall of Famer with the Dodgers. This was in 1997 when this was produced. But to give you a little background on how I came about getting these, I bought out a store, the thrift store that we go to a lot. I went in there one day and they had about maybe 100. No, they had more like 200 of these starting lineups. A lot of them were baseball, some of them were basketball, some of them were football, and the majority of them were hockey. And I have not really listed many of the hockey starting lineups, but I have been listing, I have listed all of the baseball, all of the football, and all the basketball starting lineups. I paid $300 for all of them, so I've got about maybe $4, $3 to $4 into each one of them, and they're just selling very slowly. I don't recommend, if you're a reseller, if you see these, I don't recommend that you pick them up because they're very slow sellers. They're just not great items to pick up. Okay, Dustin says you might want to look at the bottom of the car to confirm. On that Sadler car, let's see. Let me pick that up again. Let's see. I need my glasses because I'm an old guy. I'm retired and I'm inspired, so I have to wear glasses. Chevrolet Lumina name, logo, and body design are registered trademarks of and are used under license from General Motors Corporation. It doesn't say who the driver is on this car. But this is a bank. It's got a little slot here to put coins into. And then on the bottom is a little place you can get your coins back out of once you get the amount of coins that you desire. But these are banks. These are, the wheels do turn. So they're created, I think, for display and they have a utilitarian purpose also as a bank. All right, who is this? Wally Dallenbach. Wally Dallenbach. Can you see that? I don't know who that is. Never heard of him. This one is Tom Peck, according to the top. Tom Peck. Yeah, I picked these up at a yard sale a few years back, and they're just not real great sellers, so I kind of have just held on to them and put them on, just put them up for display. I did put them on my eBay store, so they are for sale, but they're just kind of sitting up there, taking up space and kind of being display items for right now. So that's the starting lineup. It's got, give you a close-up of that. It's got Mike Piazza. I've heard of him. Yeah, he is a Hall of Famer, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. His number was 31, and he was on the starting lineup with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I told you I've been selling a lot of this vintage doll clothing, so I sold another item. This is kind of what got me interested in listing the rest of the items that I had. This 1962 velvet swing coat, and it's got you can see the old Barbie tag inside of it. Give you a close up there. So yeah, that sold for $11.69. You can see there's a stain inside of it, a pretty bad stain. So I didn't list it for a higher amount, but the outside of it is still in really good condition. Looks like there might be a tear right there. Not sure if that's what that is. No, I'll have to look, but yeah, that looks like it might be a tear. I wonder if I disclosed that in my listing. I did not. So that might get returned if it is a tear. Anyway, we'll have to see how that does. And again, another dress sold, another Barbie dress. This one right here, kind of a plain Jane looking dress, is from 1963. I don't know what that PAC stands for. I know it stands for something, but this is called a Spectator Sport Knit Striped Dress. So this is another Barbie dress. These Barbie clothes, they just sell for crazy amounts of money. These older Barbie clothes, it's just amazing to me. $35.99. And I told you, earlier that I sold the 3 dolls that were the vintage dolls that were in that and the case already for well over $300. And so everything that I've got in this one is all profit when I'm selling these Barbie outfits. Wally drove the STP car for a bit after Richard Petty retired. Okay, well, that's interesting information. All right, the next item I sold was a Barney VHS tape. These VHS tapes are hit and miss. Some of the vintage ones, you can get, if they're sealed, if they're really a hard to find VHS tape, you might be able to get good money, like over $100 for them. But for the most part, these, like this one right here, it's an old Barney's tape, not real hard to find, kind of common. And so it sold for $13.49, but I was glad to get it because I'm sure that I don't have more than 50 cents into this VHS tape. So that's a real good return on investment. I did sell a VHS tape one time that I bought a box of VHS tapes, and there were several in there from the old James Bond series, and they were sealed and still had the original markings from MGM and the companies that produced them stamped onto the plastic. And I sold one of those tapes that was sealed for $450. So that by far was the highest sale on any VHS that I have ever made, and I was really glad to get it too. The next item that I sold was this Sony Dream Machine. It's a digital AM/FM alarm clock, and I have about $5 into this. I bought this at the local thrift store. I didn't get this at a yard sale. It was at a local thrift store, and it cost about $5. I usually try to pick up these old alarm clocks. People just like them for the nostalgia. I'm gonna show you a feature that eBay has that I really like. It is a where you can record a video. Let me see if this will play. I love a man, I leave him alone. I didn't care. All right, I can't let it play for very long or I'll get a copyright strike. So that's a good feature that eBay has, where you can make a video of your items that are for sale, and that kind of helps them sell because the buyers can go on there and actually watch the video and make sure that the item is working. So that was really a good purchase. The next item that I sold, this one actually has sold twice now. The first time I sold it to the buyer, it was the guy in Canada that bought it. And this is a old World War II knife. This is, if you remember, if you're familiar with the K-bar that the Marine Corps was issued in World War II, this was the precursor or the predecessor to the K-bar. This is called a RH-37 PAL U.S. Navy fighting knife, and this was issued by the U.S. Navy before the K-bar was in existence. And so you see it has U.S. Navy stamped in the blade, and it was sold for $300. I took an offer for $300 on this, and you can see it says USN on here, and the owner of the knife's name was T.S. Hartley. So that gives you a little bit of the history behind it too. So that's pretty good. Pretty good item to sell for $300. I picked that up for $25 at the same store I was mentioning earlier, where I bought those coins, those challenge coins. So I picked that up for $25, but I also got a couple of other items when I picked that up. And so selling for $300, I've already, well into profit on that. At this next item, I got, this is called a Monster High Boo York, a Monsterific musical. This is a video CD, DVD that I bought at a yard sale. And I actually bought a set of these. There were 6 of them all together, and I got those as well as 20 video games, PlayStation 2 video games, and a bunch of other things. And I think I paid $20 for all of it together. So I've got less than 50 cents into this, and it sold for $22. So if you find Monster High stuff, I don't care if it's a diary or, hopefully unused diary, but if you find a Monster High doll, original Monster High doll, or if you find videos or anything, DVDs, Monster High sells. It's a real easy seller, and I like to pick it up when I can. The next item that I sold was ASIC men's gel shoes. They were size 10, Cumulus 21. These were in new condition. I don't think these were worn. Yeah, no, they were worn. So I couldn't sell them as new. So I did sell them as used, but they sold for $40.50. They're in very good condition. You can tell from the photos. They're in excellent condition, almost, barely worn. But you can tell that they were worn if you look at the bottom of the shoe. So those sold for $40.50. And I don't pay more than $5 for a pair of shoes when I go yard selling. These came from a yard sale, so I don't think I have more than $5 unless it's a brand new pair in the box. I'll pay up sometimes for those brand new pairs. I'll pay $10, and if it's a really high dollar item, I might pay more than that for it. So that was a pretty good sale, good return on my investment. And the next item that I sold was a red line Hot Wheel. If you've watched my videos, you know that I bought a bunch of red lines here not too long ago. I bought a whole bin of them. I made a video just about the red line cars. And so those red lines, whoever put those out there didn't know what they had, because these are from 1960s, and they're very collectible these days. So this red line sold for $39.60. And, you know, I've already sold 5 or 6 of them and have already made over, you know, $600 since I have been selling these. So $39.60 for this car is probably the lowest amount of any of the cars that I have gotten so far. So this one was made in 1969, and if you look on the bottom of it, you see it says Hong Kong. That means it was made in Hong Kong. And so the paint, they said, I've done some research on these red line cars, and so the paint that from the cars from Hong Kong is better paint than the paint that was done in America, in the United States. So the paint held up much better on these cars than on the ones that were painted in the United States or made in the United States, is what I learned. The paint on this one was pretty good, and it did come with that button, the Lotus Turbine button. That button would come in the package when you bought the Hot Wheel back in the 60s. All right, the next item that I sold was Matterhorn boots. These are steel-toed, composite-toed, not steel-toed, but they're made to withstand heavy things falling on your feet, and they are size 12 wide. These boots were boots that I was issued on my last deployment back in 2011. Actually, it was the end of 2010. I went to Kyrgyzstan, and I was issued 2 pairs of these boots, and they've just been sitting in my closet since then. I think I may have worn them once. They haven't been worn very much at all, but they sold for $86.40. They are made for cold weather, and so I didn't, have any money into these boots, and they sold for $86, which was really a good deal. Dustin says, okay, we got that. Wally drove the STP car for a bit after Richard Petty retired. And Paul, welcome to the show. I was 13 years old in 1969. I had a wheel carrying case full of red lines, have lost them all. Well, let me ask you something, Paul, and welcome to the show. Have you, did you have the original? I think there was, I don't want to say for sure, but I think there was like 14 or 16 original ones that you could get for that wheel case. And did you get those original 14 first cars that were made? Just curious about that. So the next item that I sold was a very high dollar item. And let me tell you something about this item. This is a Barbie dream house. It's made in 2013. And this was on one of my last videos where I was showing my haul from my yard sale haul. This Barbie dream house sold for $238.50 to someone in Dubai, and I started to take this apart because there's no way I could ship something this big. That I did not have any boxes big enough to ship this, and I don't think the eBay international shipping would have let me ship it through international shipping that big anyway. So I started trying to break it down, and this piece right here broke. So I contacted the guy in Dubai, and I told him that that piece had broke, and that I was very sorry, and asked if he wanted to cancel his order. So he did cancel his order, and so I did not end up making that sale. And so that was sad, but I also learned a lesson. Don't try to sell stuff that big overseas. It's just not worth it. So Paul says, I think I got them separately. I remember the 32 Ford Vicky. Yeah, okay. But anyway, that was a disappointment. I was able to put this back together with some super glue, where you can't really even tell that it was broken. And so I'm going to relist it. I'm going to disclose that on the listing, and I'm going to only sell it for someone who's willing to pick it up locally. I'm not going to try to sell it where I've got to mail it again. That's just bad idea. Don't ever do that. I will never do that again. I pick up hats from time to time, and so here is a hat that I picked up, and it only got $12.15, but it was still a good pickup, and I was very glad to get it. I've got maybe $2 into this hat. I don't put more than $2 or $3 into a hat. Most of the hats I get are just $1, and this one may very well have been just $1. But turning $1 into $12.15, if you did that 100 times, it'd be pretty good. But unfortunately, I don't sell 100 hats in a month. But I do sell one from every now and then, maybe every couple of weeks, I sell a hat, which is a good thing. So I do still pick up hats, and I still list hats and enjoy selling them. The next item that I sold was this Victorinox lock. I got this in a yard sale for 50 cents, and it sold for $20.69. It's just a luggage lock, and the guy messaged me. The person that bought this messaged me and asked if I could make sure and get it in the mail as quickly as possible, because he was getting ready to take a trip, and he needed another one because someone took the one that he had. So I got that in the mail, and hopefully he got it on time. I'm not sure that he did, but I do my best to try to get those sent out. The next item that I sold was Sega Genesis Model 1 console. Like I said, I sell these from time to time. Right now, during the summer months, it's kind of slow on the video game consoles. This game console has sold before, and the person returned it. I think they had buyer's remorse, but I've got really good deals on my my game bundles. This Sega Genesis, they haven't put these out since the 90s. So, when you buy one of these, it's going to be a retro game console. And this came with a game in the box in very good condition, a boxing game. So let's see what the year is on this boxing game. Let's see if we can see what year it was put out, this particular game, 1993 Sega. But yeah, there's a 16-bit Sega Genesis system, and then there's the Sega Genesis. This is the Model 1, and then there's a Sega Genesis Model 2, and I sell them both, and they sell for about the same amount. One doesn't really sell for more than the other, so that's interesting to note. So the next item that I sold was this Philips DVD player and a DVD player and AM/FM radio, and it had the speakers. These speakers will actually detach from the radio itself, and you can play them. It played really well. I was able to get plenty of pictures. I actually put a video of this one up, but for some reason it didn't stay up. But it stayed up long enough for someone to buy it, and I paid I paid $15 for this at the local thrift store, and it sold for $61.19. So that was a real good return on that investment. The next item that I sold was a University of Georgia mini football helmet. I got these mini football helmets at a yard sale here in the local area here in Montgomery. I don't know if any of you have seen any of these, but I got there was about 12 of them, and I paid about $5 a piece for these. So that one sold for $26.99, and it was a pretty good pickup. So far, I have sold about 6 or 7 of these different football helmets from different colleges, and I always take pictures to show how tall it is and how wide it is, give them a good idea of the condition. Make sure I take plenty of pictures of the top and the bottom and the inside so that they get a good idea of what the condition is of that helmet. I also sold a pair of sandals. These are brand new sandals, Ozark Trail men's sandals, size 12. I probably should have kept those for myself. Those are size 12. That's what I wear. And I have 2 pairs of these listed, so I still have another pair out there. And so these were brand new. I paid $5 for this pair at a yard sale, and they sold for $22.49. So I'm going to stop there because I've been going for a little while now, and I'm going to go back to the regular screen and stop sharing the screen. That's pretty much most of the stuff that has sold in the last couple of weeks since I did my last video. So it's been a real good month, even though I was on vacation and I did have a little bit of a slowdown on my store. It's still been a pretty good month, and I did pretty good, got pretty good profits. But since I've been back, I've been listing at least 5 items a day. If my friends with Rat's Stash, Renee and Todd, if you're watching this, I know you're not on tonight, but if you're watching it later, they just recently picked up a bunch of these World War II occupied Japan, I don't know what you call them, porcelain figures, and they have probably 200 of them, so they're going to have enough to be listing 5 items a day for the next 2 years. So that's real good for them. I'm real happy for them that they were able to get those items, and so they'll have plenty of inventory to be listing on a regular basis for quite a while now. Let's see, how long have I been on here tonight? 58 minutes and 10 seconds. So I have met my hour of doing the live stream. For you guys, if you've been watching recently, I've mentioned that I just went over 1,000 subscribers. I've now up to about almost 1,050 subscribers. So it's really taking off now. For people who are just joining my channel, I appreciate you all. And those who have been loyal subscribers for a long time, I appreciate you as well. Be sure that, when you're watching my videos, that you are liking and leaving a comment, because that really helps my algorithm. And if you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, I would really appreciate it, because it doesn't cost anything and it really helps me out. So I got a message from YouTube because I do have my watchtowers now, and I have the viewers that I need. I am monetized, so I've got to submit my bank information and get everything set up so I can start receiving payments from YouTube. Now, don't get too excited, because I'm not getting too excited about this, but it's just to me, it's one of those, like I've mentioned before, one of those bucket list things for me to be able to achieve that goal of being able to say that I monetized on YouTube and I was able to actually receive money from YouTube. it's not going to be but a few dollars here and there. It's not going to be much at all. Certainly not enough to do anything with, but other than bragging rights. But I owe that debt of gratitude to you all who have subscribed to my channel and who have been loyal watchers, and for allowing me to get those subscribers and giving me the hours of watching my videos, um, so that I can be able to be monetized. So thank you very much. And I hope you can continue to come back and watch my videos on a regular basis. Paul, I always look forward to seeing you on here. I see you all the time when I do my live streams. You're pretty consistent about getting on there. And Dustin, I see your comments. You are always giving me comments and liking and commenting on my videos. I appreciate that so much. And Marty, I appreciate you as well. So I'm going to sign off for now, and I will be back next Sunday. I will try to keep my live streams consistent on Sunday evenings, somewhere in the neighborhood of 6:30 and 7 o'clock. I'll try to shoot for 6:30, but sometimes it may be as late as 7 o'clock. Paul, thank you. Paul says later. Thank you again for joining me today. And I have been watching your channel too, where you go out and you do your treasure hunting. I hope that you continue to do that. Put out some more content. I want to see some more. Really have enjoyed that. So, okay. Dustin says good night and thanks for going live. It was good to see you on here, Dustin. And thank you for all the comments that you give me. And please continue to make comments on my videos, and I will continue to put them up. So I'll see you on the next one. Love you guys. Bye-bye.